Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about area. So before we start talking about area, I want you to take some time and start with our math message. And look here at 6 times 7. If I were to draw that out in a rectangular array, how many dots do you see? I'll give you a second to think about it. And so when I'm seeing 6 times 7, I'm remembering to think of 6 groups of 7. So that means that I have 7 in my first row, 14, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. So I know that 6 times 7 equals 42. Or let's look at 8 times 3. I can see here that 8 times 3 I can make with this array with 8 equal groups of 3. So I'm seeing here 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So I can remember that 8 times 3 is equal to 24. Well, today we're going to use that as we try to find the area of a rectangle. And so today we'll be able to say that I can determine the area and perimeter of a shape by counting units of measure or using arrays to multiply. And so we're really going to focus on that idea of how do I find the area of the shape. Let's get started. Here's some vocabulary. So you'll hear that we might mention perimeter, and the perimeter is when I'm looking at a rectangle and I want to measure the outside of a shape, as they've done here. And area is when I want to see how much space is on the inside and how much it covers. So if I'm thinking of buying a new rug for my living room, I might need to find the area to find out how large of a rug I need to cover how much space. And so when I'm looking at area, I want to look at it reminds me of our rectangular arrays. How I have 10 groups of 5. And I know that 10 groups of 5, if I were to count these out, would equal 50. And so when I think of area, I'm thinking of just like my rectangular arrays, where I'm going to multiply the length times the width to find the area or the space inside the shape. And so here's another way to look at area as the surface inside of a shape. We measure it in square units, so square inches, square feet, square yards, square centimeters, and square meters. Where the perimeter is where we measure the outside of the shape, and you want to think of the rim. You've probably heard of that before when we've talked about measuring a rectangle and how much does the space around. So for today, we're going to talk about area on the inside. Area is the inside of a shape. And we can find the area by multiplying equal groups and using rectangular arrays. So I'm going to draw my rectangle here. And I can see that inside my rectangle at the top, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is my width, and 1, 2, 3 for my length. And to find out how many are in the middle, then I can think of it as 5 times 3. And we've done a really great job of skip counting to solve how much is in the middle, or how much 5 times 3 equals. So I could think of it as 5, 10, 15. So my answer would be 15, and I could say that the area of this rectangle is 15 square inches. Let's try it with another one. Here I have another rectangle that's split into equal groups. And so the top has a group of 3. I remember when we were counting our arrays, we double tap and count this column here. And now I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. So now my rectangle has a width of 4 and a length of 3. And so I know to find the area, I can multiply 4 times 3 and count the inside squares. So I can count by 3. So I could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Because I know that when I count everything inside, that's going to give me the same answer of 4 times 3. So all of your work with multiplying is really going to pay off, and all of our work with rectangular arrays are going to come back again as we're looking for the area of a rectangle. So let's try it here with this math problem. Here's our rectangle, and first we need to figure out what does this side, the width, equal. And I could see here that I can count 1, 2. So that would equal the width. And in each group is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 2 groups of 7. So one way to find it would think 2 times 7 and then count on the inside. And I see the first group equaled 7, so now I'm going to keep going. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And now I could see that and now I know that the area is 14 square inches. And that means there are 14 squares in all that make up this rectangle. Let me give you a cleaner picture of what it would look like. And so that's how I solved that found that there are 14 squares in this rectangle. Let's try it with one more. Okay. Here's one I want you to try. Let's count how many rectangles make up, or how many squares make up this rectangle to find the area or the amount of space inside. I can see that the width is made of 1, 2, 3, 4, and the length is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So think to yourself for a second, how can I figure out how much space is in between, or how much space does this rectangle take up? I'll give you a minute to think about it. All right, let's see if we came up with the same answer. So one way to find the area would be to think of it as counting all these squares. So I could count each square. I'm going to erase it so we have a better picture. And I could count it as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. So when I count the area, the inside, I get an answer of 24 squares. But if I also think of it as 4 groups of 6, or 4 times 6, I can also think of that as multiplying, and I would get the same answer. And you can always check it using your multiplication chart. And if I use my handy dandy multiplication chart, I could think of it as I'm going to count by the number 4 6 times. So that would leave me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I still get the same answer. So I can see that the area is 24 and that 4 times 6 equals 24, and both ways work. Great job, everyone. So I'm going to draw a rectangle as one last reminder to find the area. I'm going to draw a little bit different than what we had before. All right. So if I looked at my rectangle that I just drew, I could see that I have one group of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And if I use my first strategy of count the inside, then I could see that the area would equal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8, that the area would equal 8 square inches. Or I could use my other strategy of multiplying with equal groups and think of it as saying 1 times 8. And one group of 8 equals, that's right, 8. And so I would say the area is 8. Great job, everyone. And so remember, you can always rewind down below and come back to any of the notes, but I've put this back in here for you to help you remember that the area is the space inside the shape. So whether you are multiplying the sides or counting the squares on the inside, you will be able to find the area. All right, so there's one more thing that I want to show you today before. So remember that you can find some really great ways to work and practice your skill of finding the area if you log into Seesaw and check out Mrs. Brunell's room 115 class and go to the activities. And it's right there by the journal. You're looking for the light bulb. Once you click on that, it will take you to the screen with a list of activities. And this week, I've found some fun ways to practice area if you would like under Plan Your Fort. So what you'll do is you'll click on, and so once you click on the picture where it says here in the directions, first click the picture, you'll be able to access all these different activities. So we have something on, you'll watch the lesson from today, go on to Seesaw to plan your fort to share with your teacher and friends. There is a really fun story about area. You can click on any of these after you click on View Original. Once you click View Original, you'll be able to access all these different activities to practice area or even some of the fact practice. And this board here has some activities from Mrs. Nichols and Mrs. Collins and Mrs. Bernard that you can also check out. And this link takes you back to the choice board that your teachers and I have created. So once you go back and you see the Seesaw directions, you've clicked the picture, you clicked View Original, and you've watched the lesson. Now you can click on Add Response, and that's how you'll be able to add your response on how to plan for your own fort. And then we'll use this page here to plan for our own fort. And so here, I started to plan for where I'm going to have a chair and some really comfy spaces for reading. And then I drew over here, this rectangle will probably be where I put my a bed for my dogs to sit in because they always like to sit near me when I'm reading. And then in each square, I found the area of the space that I have planned for each part of my fort. And so then you'll be able to do that using this paper here by drawing your rectangles and finding the area for each rectangle. Remember, if you need anything, I am here to help. You are now ready to practice finding the area. Congrats. Off you go.